So this week in conference, we are studying the yoga philosophy concepts of Sthira, Suhkam, otherwise known as Sthira and Sukha. So Sthira is what? Look for Sharon. Strength, grounding, focus, stability. Then what's Sukha? Grace, softness, ease, flexibility. It's sort of our yin and yang for our yoga practice. And we were talking a little bit about this last week and looking at the external body, the internal body, and the spiritual body. In our external body, which do we need more of, Sthira or Sukha? Both. You need to have them balanced. We actually need them balanced in all three bodies. So we have this idea in our asana practice, in our vinyasa practice, where we're working on being stable and focused and strong, working from our center, and at the same time being at ease and being soft and flexible. Always in each asana, and the vinyasas as well, we find that we really need that combination for this method of yoga. And then for the internal body, last week we talked about the breath. So the breath has the same quality. We want to have a strong ujjayi breath that's powerful, and yet we don't want it to be like too powerful where we're in effort. So we bring this lightness and this softness and this fluidity to the breathing, combined with this beautiful strength, what we constrict through the back of the throat. So that's our internal body, or one of the parts of our internal body. And then what would be the spiritual body, Sthira Sukham? What would that be like on our yoga mats anyway? To be focused on in your practice, to feel strong and confident in your practice, also to come into your practice and be open-minded, be soft in your way of being. So we were saying when Pattabhi Jois, when Guruji was teaching, he was a very fierce teacher. We would always be a little bit scared when he came around and you could hear his little feet coming towards you. But at the same time, he was always laughing and making us laugh. And if Pattabhi Jois were here, I think he would say, take your practice very seriously. And then he would say, don't take your practice too seriously. Right? That's good advice for us on our yoga mats, but it's also good advice in life. So, of course, the same principle applies in our life to be strong and grounded and focused and confident and also really open and at ease and flowing and silly and joyful. And we always need that combination. So, you know, we're saying in our practice, we're always striving to be that looking bird, to be conscious of ourselves on our mats and also in our lives. So as we're more and more conscious, we can see we're in a situation in our lives maybe where we're really strong and confident, and that's good, but maybe we need a little more lightness or we need a little bit more joy. So last week I was calling it the sugar and the salt. You know, so we start to see our lives and see, well, I need a little more salt here, I need a little more And then in another situation where maybe we can see we need to be a little more light about it, a little more open. You know, we need a little bit more sugar. So this week, looking at the same idea of Sthira Sukham, but using the two ideas of effort and effortlessness. So which one is Sukha? What would that be? Effort. Sukha would be the effort, like I've got to come in here and I've got to try. I've got to come in here focused on trying my best in my practice and different aspects of my practice. But then we also have to bring in this idea of effortless, right? Effortlessness. What would that be? Obviously it's a Sukham. In your practice, this idea of not trying too hard, right? To give it effort, but not to be in that place where we can actually push or hurt ourselves, or to bring that lightness to our mind and to our bodies of effortlessness, you know, when things come to you. And you know, when we're new to the practice, we tend to be a little bit more effort. We're trying, we're trying, we're trying. And then you master the practice more and more, we move into this beautiful effortlessness of everything. Not just the physical body, but also the mind body. You know, when you guys remember being in your first class, your second class, your first month, you were thinking a lot too. And trying to remember and looking around and being a little intimidated by the asana or the asana sequence and what we were doing. And after time, you memorized it, and the flow itself became more effortless for you. So the same in our yoga practice, of course, in life. Again, we're looking this week at where in our lives we see ourselves in effort and where in our lives we see ourselves sort of at ease, this effortlessness. And in life, we need both too. You need to come in life and try whatever we're talking about, maybe a relationship. You need to give some effort and try in a relationship, but also bring a little bit of lightness and not try too hard, right? So the quote for this week has to do with a I Ching or a Taoist principle called Feng Liu, which in English is translated as the watercourse way. And that is the idea of us riding a wave, sailing rather than rowing against the current, right? So this week, as always, I'm going to ask you guys for your homework to just be the looking bird in your lives all week and see where you can bring a little more effortlessness to your lives. Namaste. So the quote for this week is from the Tao Te Ching, and it is the Feng Liu, the idea of the water flow grace. Tao is often described as the watercourse way or following the way of the wind flow. Contrasting with the self-conscious striving of most people, followers of Tao naturally swim downstream and catch the wind, enjoying the art of sailing instead of rowing the boat and pushing against the current.